I wish I would have known that my students are capable of this kind of work. You know, at the beginning, I was really hesitant. I'm like, are they going to be able to produce this? And just having that faith in them and realizing that, you know what, they are very capable of doing this type of work.
I wish at the beginning of my PBL experience I had known that the best projects have a nice solid outline, but allow for a lot of flexibility based on the need-to-knows of students. So I really want to let the students drive the project, and if I had known that early on, I think I would have had a few less failed projects and a few more that could have gone even further than they did.
I wish I had known that we were still able to use resources that we got from the district. I thought that we had to just use none of the books, none of the resources that they gave us, and just find all of our own things that had to do with our project. But through my years, I've learned that we can use the resources they give us along with our project.
Well, the challenging thing is people. So you have to get to know them before you can really talk to them in a way. So it'll get harder, and then once you get to know them, it'll get much more easier, and you can cooperate with everyone.
If a teacher was debating whether or not to get into PBL, I would have to say if you want your class to be engaged in what you're doing and to really buy in to what they're being taught, you should definitely go for PBL. When you're doing PBL, you have a reason to come to school. You have a reason to believe in what you're doing. You know, you have a purpose for everything that's going on. And so when you have a purpose, you're going to pay attention, you're going to focus, you're going to want to work hard.
And we do hands-on work. Like for biology, you learn about the biology of plants. And then you go work in the garden we have here. In physics class, you learn how to wire. You go out in the community and help wire houses, or we go to New Orleans and we wire houses down there.
The first few projects I ran, I didn't put a whole lot of effort into employing community partners, and when I started to do that, I thought to myself, why have I waited so long to do this? It really heightens kind of the amount of pomp and circumstance that's involved in a project or in the presentation of a product, and then it helps create pathways for students to make connections and to build networks in their communities and maybe even outside their communities for the future.
Community partners give the authenticity piece to the project. So having students work with another adult besides the teacher it can be their external enemy. They can ask them questions, they can learn about their careers, and hopefully sometimes they can even have a final product that they get to see out in their community, which helps them see beyond their classroom and what they're doing during their classes.
So community partners really bring in the authenticity to the project. They bring in people from the outside. It's one thing if I give a project to students and they're doing it in my class for a grade. But if they're doing a project for someone outside of our building and someone in the community that could have actual consequences that could actually make a difference, that's why community partners are so important, because they bring a level of authenticity and a level of rigor to the classroom to show the kids that, okay, you're going to work on this, and I value what you have to say on this issue.
So you have to contact a lot of community partners, especially if you're doing, we do occasionally do individual projects, and a lot of times they'll make you contact people outside of school to bring in for your project as a visual aid. So you have to learn how to contact them and how to speak to them appropriately.
I actually got hired very quickly once they realized that I had this skill set to work with people, to communicate, to be a leader. In the real world, it's all about communication and group work. And when they found out that I had these skills to be able to communicate with adults and be able to write professional letters and emails and be able to take initiative, they said, hey, we want someone like you, someone who knows how the real world really functions and have that skill set available at hand.
One thing I've learned is you can work with everybody as long as you make the conscious decision to do so, as long as both parties make that decision, then you can overcome any obstacle and work with anyone you want to.
PBL will also allow students to maybe shine in ways that they otherwise would not have. Maybe they would be singing a solo for the project that we're doing, and with that allowing them to shine in a way they may not have been able to, because the opportunity is there, not only in the classroom but for public performance, which is a major part of the performing arts with music.
It gave them a voice, and I feel like sometimes our students, coming from some of their backgrounds, they don't have a voice in their lives, and they're kind of powerless with some of the things going on with them, and I think PBL gives them that voice that they don't necessarily have in their lives.
PBL appeals to all learners. It's the great equalizer. Students with IEPs, students that have never felt success before in school, students that have never had an opportunity to share their talents or share their strengths within the scope of an assignment at school are able to thrive where they oftentimes haven't before. PBL is also a system that gives the kids a lot of agency and control over how they learn and how they're going to hold themselves accountable as learners and how they're going to set goals and adopt a growth mindset in order to keep improving. I've had students come back from Christmas break and burst in the classroom and say, I've thought about this project all over Christmas break and I've got all these ideas and things to present to my group. And if you can get students thinking about standards and thinking about content and thinking about what's going on at school over Christmas break, that's a win.
How do you effectively change your practice to become a teacher who can reach me?
And me.
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 And me.